Hey Stampers, it's Gaynor again. I've just been having a play with a card that I saw on the internet, but it's a 7x5 and I don't normally make them that big. I have made this one, but I've also downscaled it so you can get it in a normal size envelope as well. So I'll show you the 7x5 one that I've made, and then we'll make the downscale size one. So it's an A2 card, so it fits in a regular size envelope. I'll show you my card, and it is a sympathy card. It's not very often I make these, but I thought this is absolutely beautiful, and this is the 7x5. Sorry about that, my phone keeps going off. Let me just put it on silent. There we go. Sorry about that. So this is the 7x5 version. And it's like a lot of ladies, some do make 7x5 cards. It stands up beautifully. It's absolutely gorgeous with those papers I've chosen. I've done the pattern from I'll show you the set. It's from the Serene Garden. And what I did was, I did the impression on some cardstock and then just fussy cut it out, just to follow the pattern around, and stuck it in the corner. I used the dove then that was in there, and the sympathy is from Flourishing Phrases. But this one I'm going to turn into a wedding card instead. I only need one of these, so I'm going to make the next one all the same papers. I'm going to put the dove on there, but I'm going to change the sentiment to marriage is a journey, or comfort and healing to you, or something, or I love you even, or congratulations. One of them it's going to be. So it's not going to be a sympathy card this time. So this is the 7x5, like I'm saying. Absolutely beautiful. Easy as pie to do. It's just a bit of strategic cutting, a little bit of strategic embossing. I've even put this on the back, which is praying that your heart will be filled with by the many loving thoughts that surround you today. And I just used the fancy, what's it called? Blah, blah, this punch. The Pretty Labels punch. And then cut one out in silver, chopped off the side bits, split it in half, and then just layered it up. Which we'll probably do again on this new one. But isn't that absolutely gorgeous? I do have some 7x5 envelopes from a long time ago when I used to pre-buy them. Oh, going back about 3.5 years now, so yeah. So that will fit in a 7x5. But I wonder, this is just my prototype. I haven't done any decoration on this whatsoever. But this is exactly the same card, and downscaled to 5 7/8 by 4 1/8. Even though it's cut at 8 inches. It's like it's just the way it's laying on the board. It might just be me actually. But you can get 2 of these. Yeah, it's just over 4. But you can get 2 of these from one piece of cardstock, and it's going to stand beautifully. It's, you know, it took a little bit of working out, but I did it. You know me and pen and papers and numbers. So we're going to make the stiffer one with the thicker card. I've got my layers, and this piece, believe it or not, is going to be for that section there. So when that's cut out, it's so easy, it's done on the trimmer. You should have enough of the designer series paper and the cardstock to do this piece inside here. I've cut them already, just in case there isn't enough, but you should be able to take it from that piece there. I've just got it to hand, just in case there's not quite enough, but I'll show you that when we get there. So it's going to be the same decoration. You can add this panel here on here as well if you want, but because it's white cardstock, I thought, you know, we can write a message anywhere on the back then. I'm going to add a second one on the back of this one, because like I'm saying, I wish I'd done it on the other one. I only had one sheet of this paper, so it's going between that card and this one, because we can write on this section, you know, to write our message to whoever the recipient's going to be. So it's going to have a panel there, and it's going to have a panel there. So I've cut them ready, I've cut that ready. This is all going to be done on a trimmer as well. And like I say, fingers crossed you might be able to get this section from there so you won't be wasting any more cardstock. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous. And yes, it would make a beautiful anniversary card, wedding card, engagement card, even a birthday card. And God bless, it's made a sympathy card as well. So let's get crack-a-lacking, as our gorgeous Mandy would say. I love her to bits. I love her, love her, love her. So I'll give you the measurements of the 7 by 5 card. You need cardstock at 7 by 10. You want to put it in at 1 inch and come down 1 inch and cut from 1 inch to 7.5. I think it is. Is it? In one. Oh, score 2. Yeah, you want to cut down to from 1 inch to 7.5, and then flip it over and do the same on the other side. And then you want to score at 1 inch in between the lines, 2 inches in between the line. Then you want to score. Let me just open this out. It's easier to do it with this. You put it in, and then you at 1 inch you score in between the cut lines. It's actually, you cut it down from 1 to 6. Sorry, do apologise. And then you score at 2 inches between the score lines. You score at the 6 inch line in between the score lines. Then you score at 5 and 7.5, and then you get that shape. With this one, we're going to do it totally different. And the cardstock pieces you need for this size are 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. Your DSP is 6.5 by 4.5. This section then is 4 3/4 by 3 3/4, and the DSP is 3.5 by 4.5. This section is 6 3/4 by 2 1/4, and the DSP is 2 by 6.5. And if you want one on the back, you have to repeat that for the back. So they're the pieces for the 7 by 5. Now the pieces for the side panel card A2 size is 8 by 5 7/8. We're going to put it in at 1 inch, and we're going to cut it from 1 inch down to 4 3/4. And then in between the 1 inch line, we're going to score in between. At the 1 3/4, we're going to score in between. The 4 3/4, we're going to score in between. And then outside the line, we're going to score at 4 inch and at 6 inch all the way down. I'll show you that now as we're going, and I'll tell you the card layers as we're going as well. So I'm fetching in my Stampin' Up! Trimmer because I've got a guide on the side, and I'm going to put this in at 1 inch on this side of the board. You don't put it over the line, put it up to the line, and that gives you your 1 inch exactly. You're going to put your cutting tool in. Let me just lift that up. Oh, sorry, too high. You want that at 1 inch, and you're going to cut all the way down to 4 3/4. So in, down you come, 4 3/4. Might have just gone over a little touch, but then take it out and flip, and again up to that 1 inch mark without going over. From the 4 3/4 back up to the 1 inch, and that is your cutting. That's what you need. So remove the blade now, put this in at 1 inch, and then we're going to score between the 1 inch and the 4 3/4, just between the cut lines. Then you're going to put it in at 1 3/4, and again cut between the score lines. We're going to take this to 4, and we're going to cut, and we're going to score outside up to the lines, top and bottom. And then we're going to take this over to 4 3/4, score in between the lines, and then take it over to 6 inches and score it all the way through. That is it. That is so simple. That's all you've got to do. We'll come back to do the trimmer in a moment to do our designer series paper. So what you're going to do, this is going to be your mountain. If you've gone over a little bit, don't worry. Just get your bone folder and go on the other side and just flatten them back out. You won't hardly see it because your other layers will be there, but if you want to be a perfectionist, then you can do that. So this one is a mountain, a valley, a valley, a valley, I think. No, sorry, mountain, valley, mountain, valley. So basically, you're going to fold this at that line. You're going to push that one in. Watch your paper spring. And you're going to bend that one. So it's like that. These are mountain folds as well. So I would just start at the back. Start at the back, score your 6-inch line. Then what you want to do is, you want a valley, you want a mountain, and mountain those. And just press it down into place. So your first one is to do this one as a valley. And then that, and that as a mountain. And it reaches across. And it all lines up with the cardstock. Give it a good burnish. Come around the back. Give that a good burnish. And that one as well. And then, there's that card. How simple was that? Just really simple. And if you put it against your score lines now, it is 4 by 5 7/8. That way you get 2 of these to 1 sheet of cardstock. I've just seen my over the edge score line. And I'm just going to burnish these score lines, make them really crisp. I know it's a little bit, it's my fault. I'm a bit rough with my hands. And again, just fetch it round, give it a good burnish. I mean, there's a lot of ladies that do like 7 by 5 cards. I don't mind. I will adapt to any size card because I can make an envelope. But I know a lot of you like an A2 card. And I know you like to get 2 cards from 1 piece of cardstock. So, there you have it. Even the you Americans, or your 11 by 8.5 card, you're still going to get 2. Because the card is 8 by 5 and 7. Well, you cut yours at 8 by 5.5 and then readjust your paperwork. So that's that section done. These are our 2 beautiful panels, which we're just going to glue together quickly. And these both measure. The cardstock itself is 1 7/8 by 5 5/8. If you were American, it'd be 1 7/8 by 5 3/8. And your DSP is 1 3/4 by 5 3/8. And if you're American, it's 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. If you want that tiny little border all the way around. I do try and accommodate everybody who watches. We do have a lot of American ladies watching as well, and the cardstock is totally different than ours, bless. I don't know why, because an A2 piece of card is an A2 piece of card. So this is going to have a nice little border all the way around, top and bottom, and I'm just going to rub that together, and I'm going to do the other section as well. We'll attach these at the same time. I'm not going to add that piece yet. I want to cut that out and see if there's enough left to get that section, because that way you're not wasting any more cardstock. And I'm using smoky slate because it goes beautiful with this paper, which is what I had the other week from the range. Just lay that down. Oops, it's got a bit off peak there. Let me just grab that quickly and slide that over. That's better. That's a lot better. Give those a good burnish. Now, I've left a small border on this all the way around because I like small borders, you know me. I can come up a little bit on there. So that one is going to fit in that section beautifully, and that one is going to go on the back. I know I could have just said, right, here's a 7x5 card, but I know a lot of you like to be frugal with your crafting. So I have to make sure we've all can make it together. Not just me, not just UK or A4 papers. I gotta make sure we can all do it together. So this is the back panel now. And that is going to get laid there, and it's non-directional paper, so it doesn't really matter. Again, a nice little border. Beautifully done. This is the back of the card, and but there's plenty of space there to write a message. You could even write it on anywhere on the back. So beautiful. Right, now I'm just going to pop the lid on my glue. Got a little fountain going on again. So these pieces, this is cut at 1/4 of an inch smaller than that section there, yeah? So we've got a good border all the way around. So what we're going to do with this, because it's an inch gap there and an inch gap there, you're going to grab your trimmer again, and I'm going to take my blade and I'm going to put it in at 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to cut. This is cut at 3 3/4, so I'm going to take this down to 3. I'm going to cut down to 3, take it out, spin it round, back in at 3/4, and at 3. In fact, no, I'm just going to cut now all the way back up to 3/4. There we go. And then I'm going to go in again at 3/4, and I'm just going to cut in between those lines. So 3/4 down to that cut line, and oh, look at that, pops out beautiful. Now that piece for the centre there, that needs to be 3 5/8 by 2 3/4. So I can cut this now to 2 3/4 to 3 5/8, and look at that, perfection. There is that centrepiece. So I don't need that now. You can cut that from that panel. So that is going to fit in there beautifully with a 1/4 inch gap all the way round. So that's our section there now, cut out beautifully with a little border all the way round. And we're going to do exactly the same with the DSP, only this time we're going to cut it at 1/2 inch, and we're going to put it in at 1/2 inch. And then we're going to cut this all the way down now to, because this is now the DSP is 3.5 by 5 1/4. So we're going to take it from that side, 3.5. We're going to take this down to, and it's going to be 1/2 inch. So we're going to take this down to 3 inches. Turn it round, 1/2 inch, and cut it up to 1/2 inch. And then we're going to cut between those gore lines at 1/2 inch. And this is 5 1/4, so there. Oh, I need a little bit further down. I've just got a tiny little bit, don't worry about that, you can nick this off with your scissors. Just a tiny just hanging on by a thread, and I don't want to pull it because I don't want to rip it. So it's easy as that. And that now is going to layer on there beautifully. And then that's going to layer on there. And then this section we're going to cut down to fit our, and this needs to be 3 3/8 by 2.5. And there is our section already cut out, beautifully layered for that inner piece there. So you can do that from the first lot, which is 5.5 by 3 3/4 for the cardstock and 5 1/4 by 3.5 for the DSP, and you get that piece and that piece with little spare pieces left over. And I've got that now spare for a different card. Wonderful. So your trimmer in this case is your best friend, and if you don't have the inches down the side of your trimmer, just cut them off your grid paper up to 12 inches and glue it on. That's all I did. Marvellous. So now I can layer these, then we can move on to the decoration of our card. You could add tear and tape, you can use wet glue. I love this glue, it's brilliant. I also like my Sukwang tape. Now you can layer this on there beautifully, and then you can layer that on your card. There's always a way to downsize a card and get it to the one you want if you can just work out the math. And if you can't, watch me. I'll do it for you as best I can. I haven't seen any this size. I've just done all this off my own back. I have seen the 7x5s by a lot of people, so I can't really pinpoint it to anyone in particular. I watched a couple of videos, so beautiful. Look at that, absolutely gorgeous. Now we can layer this section, which was from there. It's obvious it's going to be fitting because that section we've just cut out, so don't cut extra cardstock like I did. I should have had enough faith in my calculations to know that that piece would fit. But you know what we're like, we have to be safe than sorry. Just layer that beautifully. I don't think I'm going to be adding the grey because I don't have any more grey cardstock with me unless I can cut up a brand new piece, which I don't know, we'll see. And then there we go, that fits in that section beautifully. Absolutely fabulous. You could add designer series paper here and here, but this is the way the card is going to look. This is the way it's going to look stood up even, so you don't get to see these pieces unless you want to. But I think that is adorable. Absolutely beautiful. I would make a perfect wedding or anniversary card, like I'm saying. That is gorgeous. And there we go. That now is going to fit in a normal size envelope. Yay! I think I've got one here. There we go. Here's my normal size envelope. And there we go. That fits in that card. That is going to fit in there beautifully. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous with plenty of border all the way around. Just divine. So we've got our 7x5. Look at the difference. It's huge compared to our A2 cards. Look at the size difference. Wow. But very beautiful. And what I did on that section after I cut it out, I just went over all the leaves with Winker Stella and the flowers. Not all the way over the card, just on the detail. So beautiful. Now I'm just looking, is that going to fit in that corner? It's going to be huge. I don't think it'll fit. So let's see what else we've got. Now, because we're not turning this into a sympathy card, I'm still going to use the bird, absolutely beautiful, and may add some of these flowers and maybe the butterfly. I may even add some of the decoration down this way in, look at these corners, beautifully, absolutely stunning. There's that section I hand cut out with the grey, and it's literally going to take over the whole piece. And I'm not going to have much space for my dove. So I'm going to leave that. I've got my cardstock here and my dove, which I can get that another one out of there. So I'm very frugal like that. I do like to get a lot for my money. So where's my, there it is. I'm going to stamp that beautiful bird again. Absolutely divine. Gorgeous. Just going to clean that off. And I've got scraps here. So let's just layer that up quickly. That's absolutely stunning. So that's the bird. Let's grab it. And I'm gonna have is that for that? No. I don't have a die for that. That's strange, isn't it? I don't have a die for that flower. That one's for the head of that one. That's for the flowers in there, or the leaves. It cuts those leaves out. Oh, that's for those flowers there. And that's for the butterfly. So I'm literally going to have to hand cut this out. I'm going to do maybe 3 of those. And I've done it again, I've put it the wrong way around. Oh my gosh, I thought then it didn't feel right. What am I like? So stick your stamp on the right way around, and that way you can get the image, not just a flat surface. Oh my god, what am I like? Oh bless. So I'm going to do them on the wonk, as they call it. That way I can just cut them out simply from that one piece of cardstock. Oh my goodness, can you believe that? Again, I did a big boo-boo there. So there's my flower. There's my bird. I think that's what I'm going to do for now. And then I'm going to cut a sentiment out. Let's get this. Let's use, I don't know. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what's it called now? I forgot. The Love What You Do stamp set. Because I do like this. It's a beautiful day. I'm lucky to have a friend like you. Thank you. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Gaynor, what are you doing? I need something nice. I want something really pretty. Oh, let's go with the Marriage is the Journey. Oh, there we go. I've already got it out, look. So that is going to go on there. Beautiful. And these are stained, these red rubber. This is when I very first joined Stampin' Up. had this set in my freebie, and I used the black archival ink, and it stains. So that's going to go over there out the way. They can go away later. I'm going to grab my blends, and I'm going to do the Birding Grey in 2 different shades to match but I'm going to do a really, really pale soft sea foam for the green, which is the dark. I just want subtleness because there's not a lot of colour on the card itself. I want to add a nice pale tone to complement the silver. I mean, I could have heat embossed these, I suppose, but I think you can have a little bit too much silver going on. I use butterflies down the side of this one, and they'd get lost. Unless you tilt it, you can't see them very well. So this is why I'm going to add the flowers this time. Just going to go over them, just slightly darken them. The weather outside is atrocious today. Beautiful. So I want the palest of pale colours. So I'm going to use petal pink. Not really a lover of this colour, but it's the palest one I've got. I ordered again the other day, so my order's coming on Thursday. And I've had some smoky slate blends to replace my old ones. So that's the pale. A little bit of dark just coming in. Just to add a bit of shadow in. That's perfect. I don't need any more than that. I don't need to even reblend. So let's get fussy cutting these out. They're very simple. That's probably why there's no dye, because I don't know what. Simple enough to cut out, I suppose. There you go, simple. Absolutely beautiful stamp set. I tend to get lost in the new stuff that comes out as well, so it's nice to get out an older set that's still current, obviously. I like my retired stuff as well. And somebody said last week when I'd done something with an older set, they like, oh, I love it because we've still got these sets and you're coming out with new stuff with it. And well, I appreciate everything that I've got, and I'm not a stickler to buy constantly new. Don't get me wrong, I love the new stuff when it comes out, and I'll only buy it now if I like it. I'm not just going to buy it for the sake of it. If I buy anything nowadays, it's because I love it and I'll use it again and again and again. These were so simple to cut out. There we go, there's the flat. I'm not even going to die cut that out. I don't know I can do that by hand. It's not hard. It's just beautiful. So let's get this one cut out. I mean, if you don't have dies, you've got to do this anyway. I just wanted to show that it can be done quite easily. By hand as well. I think they tend to be less pointy, the dies, because they have a rounded shape on them. Well, this is just so simple. Just chop that off, I can get in there then. There we go. There's that beautiful bird as well. Get rid of our scraps now. I'll grab my grey pens. I've got new ones coming of these, but like I say, just gonna go under the wing and then just give that a flick, and then just under that part of the wing. Under this part of the wing. Beautiful. And then we can finish off. I'm having to use these ends because the nibs are a bit knackered on the other side. It's the best bit for me, the colouring. And it's done in a flash. Just blend those two colours out. Beautiful bird. And then just a tiny little dot of Mango Melody just on the tip of that little beak there. Absolutely divine. So now I can pop my scissors away. Let's get some dimensionals. Wings, body, and body. And then I'm going to grab some small ones because I've got half size ones here. Just pop that on the tail. Take my little pot out. One, two, three. And I'm going to add this just here. Absolutely beautiful. And these three flowers, I'm just going to have a dimensional each. And I'm going to add them just down that side panel. Just to set that off. Just down there. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous. And then we're going to chop this out. I've got some silver here. And what I do is just take those scissors and nick those off because you don't want them sticking out. and then simply cut this in half. Just going to grab this now, and I'm going to add, oops, take the lid off would help. And I'm going to add just a touch of glue at the top. I'm only going to give this one a small border because the other card was bigger. And then just a little bit on the bottom. And again, just a little border on this one as well. Isn't that beautiful? And then I'm going to attach that on dimensionals as well. Look at that. It's oozing out. I'll have to clean that later. Doesn't take long. So grab a couple more dimensionals. I'm not going to add too many on this one because it's quite substantial. It's going to get in there, so it's not going to get bashed about or anything. It's not going to get dipped in or anything like that because it's going to be layered. Just there. Just there. It's absolutely, it's not going to get too squashy. Beautiful. Grab some pearls, rhinestones. I'm going to add one either side. Just gorgeous. I'm going to get my black journaling pen. I'm just going to darken up the eye. Just to make it a bit more brighter. Because when you colour, I think they start to fade. And that's it. I'm only adding two rhinestones. I'm going to grab my Winker Stella, of course. You know me and Winker Stella. Just making sure it's primed up enough. Give it a good shake. And then I'm just going to add a tiny little bit of shine to these beautiful flowers. And maybe, just maybe, add a little bit to this beautiful bird. Absolutely gorgeous. It's just divine. Isn't that gorgeous? And then beautiful flowers. So there we have it, ladies. There is my A2 size side panel card. Just divine. That fits in a normal size envelope. And you can get 2 cards from one A4 sheet. And there's that humongous 7x5. I didn't realise what the difference was, but huge difference. Absolutely mega. So we've gone from a sympathy card to a wedding card. Absolutely beautiful. I do hope you give it a go, and if you do, please post your pictures in group. I just adore seeing your creations. Absolutely beautiful. I'm loving those flowers. Absolutely gorgeous. I do love my butterflies on this one, but I think they get a bit lost unless you tilt that card. But they're very beautiful. So we've got a 7x5 and we've got an A2. So I would love a thumbs up and a share. And also, if you haven't already, please press the subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. And if you want to see what I make tomorrow, because I make cards every day, then don't forget to press the little bell. That way you'll be notified of all future videos. And come and see us on the premieres. Normally between 9 and 9:30 in the UK time. in the nights. So that's between 9 and 9:30 p.m. UK time. And come and have a chat with us as well. So thanks for watching. Till next time. Bye.